Welcome to 28 Days and Beyond.
The show where we talk about our history, our heritage, and our culture.
I'm Amari.
I'm Charisma. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
AJ.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm all right, and yourself?
I'm great.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Phenomenal. I'm going to just keep going.
Keep on. There's something that you say, something about representation.
That it matters?
Yes, there it is, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking about a conversation that I had with a very old friend of mine. We go back to my teenage days. And he asked me a question, the nature of which he never asked before, and it's not even something we really talk about. He was like, yo, what movie do you think represents you as a black man? And I was like, wow, that's a dumb question to me.
Malcolm X?
Well, I mean, that goes without saying,
X?
but no, but just in terms of like, really captures black masculinity as you've experienced it. I said it's not something we really talk about. It's not even something I really think about that often, right? I'm not starved for,
Affirmation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
But the point is that shortly thereafter, I saw this movie, The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
It's so good.
And I called him like, yo, this is wild because
Did you cry?
I more than one thug tear
Yes,
descended my cheek.
me
Yes.
too.
And part of the reason was because of the emotional diversity.
Yes.
The emotional weight.
Yeah.
And the emotional
male
expression.
friendship too was one of the other things for me. Because,
Without a doubt.
I actually interviewed Jimmy, the guy that plays Jimmy. I'm blanking on his actual name.
No, it's Jimmy.
Is it in
Yeah,
real life
it's
too?
Jimmy something,
okay.
yeah.
But one of the things I talked about with him was the fact that this was one of the first times in recent history for me. And I watch a lot of movies. I have to review a lot of movies. But it was one of the first times in recent history where I could really look back and think about a male friendship where it was like they could be completely vulnerable with each other. And when they were hurting, like that was expressed. It wasn't a thing where it was like, you're a man, so don't feel the things that you're feeling. Don't hurt, don't cry. It wasn't any of that. It was just this pure bond.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need to see more of that.
Well, the nowadays people are discussing mental health a lot more openly than they have in the past.
Which is wonderful.
It definitely is a conversation that's long overdue.
Absolutely.
And I think that also ties into mental health as associated with the confinement of masculinity.
Yes.
And the prescribed roles as to what is acceptable and isn't acceptable.
Right.
So today we're joined by Djavan Johnson, who will be breaking down this and so much more when we come back on 28 Days and Beyond. And we're back on 28 Days and Beyond, joined by Djavan Johnson.
Welcome.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mental health.
Mental health. I think that it's an opening that's now happened, where mental health is a cool thing and all that. We're now starting to kind of joke about it a little bit, go to therapy and things like that. The one thing I found through my personal growth was I didn't have money in order to go to therapy. I told God flat out, I need you to teach me through life. So it took a lot of questioning. It took a lot of finding out what my wiring was. But then it also led me to a lane where I was able to talk to my homeboys in a really deep way.
Okay.
And I really started seeing how things was able to open up for me. I started to see how I was able to grow. And then I started talking to other people that really wasn't the same as me. It was labels that was really blocking us. But then all of a sudden I started rapping with them, just having regular human conversation, and started really finding those pillars as us just being just men. Then I had to start redefining really what this whole emotions and feelings things was, because I was like, I think you may have misgendered this. You may have put it to the women's side or soft side or stuff like that.
So what was it that really fueled your desire to want to be more open with how you were feeling and just what you were dealing with? Was there a particular instance that made you feel like, I've been bottling up a whole bunch of stuff that I need to let out? What was kind of the catalyst for that for you?
Okay. In 2017, I had a fiance and I had a breakup. So the reason why I had the breakup was because I realized I thought within the relationship that the problems that I had since she was strong, that it would fix it for me. And I started noticing, I'm like, I'm not getting better at this. And then there was a lot of demons that I was fighting. I'm thinking, because you're strong, I'm gonna get stronger. But it kept getting worse. And I was like, oh, I gotta fix this myself. I actually have to, so what I had to happen was I had to have that separation, things like that. But I started going to a deep wiring. Why am I the way that I am? Because a lot of things I felt uncomfortable with. It was a lot of things that I was taught or seen, but I didn't feel that way.
What were some of those things, if you don't mind sharing?
So I think that one of the things that I came up with was seeing people with a short temper. But I would try to rap and talk, but I would get the response of anger, so like it was something that was adopted. So, and I also noticed that a lot of people really didn't want to open up like that, so in order to protect myself, I put myself in that bubble. But then, you know, you go through your senses of like rage, you go through your senses of anger and all that, and then you find yourself looking at yourself being disappointed. So I just got to a point where I was like, I really got to break out of this. So I started really just questioning myself and all that. And I just started taking my homeboys and was like, yo, I'm going on this journey. It's kind of working out for me. Like, I think you need to dive in, bro. Like, we need to redefine what this really is. So,
and they were open to it.
Yeah, I just stopped playing with them. Like, you know, you hit them up, you say like, how you doing? All they be like, yo, good, you know, same-ish and all that.
No,
I'm
but
like, bro,
it's
I'm
like,
not playing
no,
with you,
like,
bro.
how are you doing?
Like, because I'm calling you for a reason. I'm not here to waste my time. Also, know you've been through a whole lot of things, and you don't talk to nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I really just want to see us all grow. So at the end of I don't want to just come here to just talk about a bunch of problems that we have or anything like that. I just basically just want to be an advocate, just show it's really not that deep. Like, we just really just need to open up and just start rapping with each other.
Yeah, but I mean, we could say, you know, it's not that deep, but I'm also thinking about, yo, you know, you've got generational trauma.
Talk about
You've got, you know what I mean? So
No,
how
talk
do you
about it.
begin to address those things? I mean, yo, because when I think about, you know, the things that I know have happened, you know, in my family or in the people who are around me, it's like, oh no, if that was me, I would not be nearly as functional as you are. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, it's like, is it as simple as just being like, no, I'm not going to deal with it that way no more, or is it something deeper than that? And that's a genuine question, because sometimes I'm like, yo, I've been mad about this way too long. Let me just stop being mad.
Yeah.
And it works. Or other times it's like, nah, you got to do some deeper work. You feel what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
but it takes all of us to want to be able to dive into that process. You dig what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of, in order for me to find out that a lot of things were taught to me, I had to dive into my own, like I went into my addict, right? And I just started opening up boxes. It was like, that was taught to you, but do you believe that? It's like, no, I really don't. Like, the way that we come up, like, I have a philosophy, right? I thought of this one day. I was like, all right, since we were kids, as a boy, when we fall or if anything happens in school, any problem, we always get asked, what's wrong? That means that we need to solve a problem. That's why we're problem solvers. To me, when a girl falls and when she has something in school, something like that, she's asked what she feels. She's working that muscle out. So here she is, 30, like fully equipped in all her feelings, know how to, like, you know, go through her processes and all that. And we sitting here still solving problems. But it's everybody but all of us have emotions.
It's not gender-based.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's like a total experience.
We have to take a little bit of a break, but I definitely want to dive more into what you just started talking about, specifically about gender. But we have to take a break. So
Okay, let's take the break.
we'll be back with more 28 Days and Beyond right after this. Welcome back to 28 Days and Beyond. We are still here with Djavan Johnson. So right before the break, we were talking about gender specifically and how little boys are taught one thing, little girls are taught one thing. They're taught something else. I find that that's really true, and I've had this conversation within my own circles where I say I'll give you an example. For a lot of women, when we go through breakups, right, we have our circle of girlfriends, and it's nothing for us to be like, you know, such and such and I just broke up. Your girls come over, you eat food, you sit on the couch, you cry, you watch movies, you drink, you talk about all the stuff. For men, it's like, it'll be all right, man.
You get passed on into a club.
You're just expected to just, you know, go about your life like nothing happened and not address the traumas that happened.
It will be all right, though.
I mean, it will. It'll all
You better
be
speak
all
it
right.
into existence. You better speak it.
But what I'm saying is,
No, I feel
I don't
you.
feel
Yeah,
like
the
men
process,
are
yeah.
given the room and the space to really process their emotions as much as women are.
Yeah, it's really, I just don't think it's something that's really embraced. But the one thing that I did within my journey was just like, I just talked to a bunch of people. And it was through my personal growth, I had to talk to a lot of people that I didn't have connections with in the past due to personal beliefs and all those other type of stuff. So I started opening my mind a little more. And when I started rapping with different type of folk, I was like, oh, this is way more common, as I said before. But yeah, that's really what I feel about it. We all have to be able to process properly, man.
So beyond, you know, just speaking with your people, what are some other things that you're putting in place to sort of push this message?
So one of my homeboys is a different type of, I call it different vibes, right? Different type of lifestyles and all that, right? So I have a straight perspective, a brother from Philly that's straight. My brother has a perspective as Virginia Beach and being gay and 6'4". and a black man, right? My other brother has a perspective of coming up more privileged and like money and understanding the world in a different type of way, but still having a Malcolm X type of vibe about him. I noticed that the way that we started opening up, because you know we have our closed times and all that, but when we really started opening up, I was like, yo, we're really finding healing right here. So the one thing I decided to do was I started talking to him. I was like, yo, I think that we should be able to create a show to show how normal this is, because like it's really not that deep. We just actually need to care. Like we just need to just, if you ask a question, be invested and be present.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can just put that on video to be able to show people that it's really not that deep, you just need to be able to, like I said, just care. You know what I'm saying?
So, tell us more about the show. What is the show? What's the format of the show? Is it just you and your male friends?
So it's us three, and what we're doing is we want to be able to first dive into like the structures, like how we were raised and things like that, so we can talk about like, you know, you asked your homie the last time he was asked how he felt. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to get into the structures of that, how it is to be a brother and uncle, especially with my homeboy being gay. You know what I'm saying? It's different experiences that he's able to go through. And I think that we don't talk to certain people because of labels and all that, and we're really cheating ourselves out of the human experience.
Yeah.
So I really want to have it where not only us three talk, but then we even have transgender men that come on. We have gay men that come on. We have all different types of people that come on, because, you know, we can't exclude anybody. You know what I'm saying? And certain people, even if they're transgender men, like, what's your flow? What do you think it is? Because your son or your daughter's looking up at you as a father. It's fitting to be the world, so we might as well just start talking to each other, you know? I just want to be able to normalize this thing. I just feel moved to be able to do it, because I felt growth in my life, and I'm like, I really want everybody else to feel this.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a vessel. If I could show it's not that deep, like, we can really, like, grow.
But one of the things that you mentioned was you use this term healing. I think that a lot of times people talk about healing as if it's a destination and not the journey itself. What are some of the nuances that you've seen with that process?
Some of the beauties I found in that process?
Nuances, like, you know, the ins and outs of it.
I like the way you did that. I needed you to take that word and dissect that for me, brother. Love you for that.
I picked out what you was putting
Some
down,
of the
but
ins
it's
and- come on now. Some of the things that I got, man, through my journey, I just had to really question everything.
yeah.
Because I said, like, life had to teach me, right? So it was a lot of things that I was doing that I didn't know the reason why I was moving that way. Then I started unpacking the boxes, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where that came from. And then I was just really serious about it. So with each thing, I just really started to find out where that mindset came from. Why am I even doing this? And then I started to really, like, redefine myself as, like, this is who you are, bro. You know, you kind of grow from things. You start to get to a point you don't care what anybody else thinks and all. And you just get to a point like, yo, this is who you are. And also, you way more comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't you want all your homies to be comfortable?
Yeah.
And and when I say my homies, I'm talking about like the world, like
everybody.
all men, so we can just be on the equal level.
Where can people find your show, follow you, support you, and everything that you're doing?
Love that. It's fitting to be under production, so I'm making sure I'm putting it out now.
Okay.
It will be out. I can't talk about the place that I'm shopping at.
That's okay.
However, it'll be on social media and all. It'll
Okay.
be on my social media,
Right.
Djavan Johnson. We'll go ahead and create whatever platforms need to go on there. But I just wanted to be able to come here to just let y'all know that there is content that's going to be coming around so that people can see it ain't that deep.
That's what's
we just
up,
need to
man.
rap.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much
we really
for
thank you
joining
for
us
coming
today
through.
and sharing your perspectives.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
back with more 28 Days and Beyond right after this.
And we're back with 28 Days and Beyond. Charisma.
Yes.
So Djavan had quite a few jewels
Yes.
to leave for us.
He did.
What stuck out to you?
Just doing the work of analyzing why, asking the questions, and giving yourself room and space to feel. Like, that's not a condition of gender. It's part of the human condition to feel and process your emotions and to feel safe to do that. And I think people are starting to just get to a place where they are feeling safe to do that without being judged based on gender or class or a number of other things that have nothing to do with being able to really delve into why you're the way you are and what things need to change, because that's important too.
You know who we have to thank for this?
Who?
Drake. Drake?
Where are you going with this,
I'm
Amari?
going with this. What is the biggest thing that people say about Drake?
I don't know.
That he's mad emotional. Oh, he's always crying
Oh,
on the
yeah,
track or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I'm half joking about it, but what I really find fascinating is, I was speaking with this, with a group of students, is that, you know, the rise of Drake coincides with this whole conversation, right? The fact that he could make something like Marvin's Room. Are you familiar
Yes,
with the music?
I'm very
Yeah,
familiar.
I'm not, but I
I'm
know
very
a few songs.
familiar with that
but
song.
But it's like, you know, the fact that he's doing that reflects one, and I think really what Djavan was saying is that there's an opening.
Yeah.
So for that to resonate with women, of course, but also with men, means that they find something in there that reflects their experience.
Absolutely.
Right? So I don't. I'm half joking that he's responsible for it, but I certainly think he's a reflection of where we are right now.
Yeah, and if people can look to Drake or anyone for that matter that has Drake, to anyone who has a platform and is using that platform to help people to embrace who they are and be comfortable with that, like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'll take it wherever I can get it. And actually, a good friend of mine, he's in California now, he actually just started a men's support group for the same reasons that Djavan was talking about.
Yeah.
Just having a safe space for men to be able to talk to each other about whatever it is they're feeling, whatever they're going through, and to be able to really do the steps that they need to do to get to healing.
Yeah. You know, so Djavan's catchphrase was, "It's not that deep."
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy.
No.
But I do wonder how life would be different if we were all able to be radically honest.
Yeah.
This has been
You
another
just gonna
episode
leave
of
it
28
there?
Days and Beyond.
Where we talk about our history, our heritage, and Amari drops gems and then ends the show.
That's
We'll
it.
see you next time.
Peace.